Well, it's certainly rich in mystery and rich in history. Hello, I am back, and today I've got a little explore for you around this churchyard and little cemetery. So let's get into it. Well guys, first impressions. This just looks like a small cemetery, but there's a lot more to this cemetery and area than meets the eye. We'll get into that as we have a wee look round. Where we are just now is in the old original churchyard. And the church that used to stand here, there's absolutely no trace of it left. But there is still some interesting features and some interesting history. So we're going to have a look at this mausoleum at the back here. Should show you these original hinges. They're pretty cool. There's no way that's going to turn anymore. That's completely seized up 100%. This would have been the old fastener for the original wrought iron gates that would have sealed this. Nice vaulted roof in there as well. God, they're ancient looking, those hinges. So I don't know who was buried here or interned here. Interesting, there should be windows, so to speak. That looks like an old bottle. A screw-in lid. Can I make it what that says? Usher. Maybe not that old. Just looks old in design. So, a very famous King of Scotland, King Robert the Bruce, he stayed here for one night on his way to burial, and he was in his coffin, which was guarded in this kirkyard, and that's known because the people who guarded it put in a claim for expenses for candles and for guarding the coffin overnight. So that's been logged in history. But there's other things about this place. So I'll show you one of the interesting things that are here. And it's that at the back there. That large mound. There's a lot of speculation as to what these mounds were for. There's one there, and there's one on the far side there. But in the early days, it was believed that this settlement lay near these mounds, known as the Hills of Dunnipace, which people used to think were symbols of a peace treaty between the Romans and the locals at the time. And this is situated in the valley of the Carn, which it was certainly a scene for many battles. And when peace came, the parties agreed to giving the place a joint name. and the name that they agreed on was Dun, which is from the native language meaning hill coupled with peace. Curious as to what this tiny little bulb must have been. There's evidence of a fire in there, so I'm assuming that it's some sort of very small groundkeeper's cottage way back then. I mean, there's virtually none of it left apart from what you see, but it really is tiny. It's only about 12 feet long by about 10 feet wide. You have some inscription in the stone here. All I can make out is AML, and it looks like past underneath it. AML past, don't know what that could mean. These are nice old gates as well, right enough. Some people in the past have also argued that these hills were ancient burial sites, but there's been absolutely no evidence of that found here through archaeological means. However, it is believed that these mounds do date back to the Ice Age, believe it or not. But there's also a river here close by called the Carn. And it's also believed that the name Dunwy Bias, which means Hill of the Ford, could certainly be a possibility, because it could have been a fording point across the Carn. So there is lots of different clues. And ideas about this place, but to date still nothing absolutely certain. This is an interesting wee piece. Just while I remember, the body of King Robert the Bruce, the night that it spent here was actually in June 1329. But back to this piece. This would have originally been a socket stone for a large cross, but the cross is gone, just like the church. The church was demolished after the Reformation in Scotland, and that would be in about 1835. Which is a pity, because even if it was in a ruinous state, it would still have been nice to see where the church actually stood. Which, looking about, I can't really hinder a guess, because there really is absolutely no sign of it. If I was to suspect anything, it would be over where the trees are, because there seems to be a lot less graves over there and possibly enough space for a wee church to stand. Another interesting thing about the wee church, though, is that another very famous Scotsman, Sir William Wallace, it's believed his uncle was the priest at this little church for quite some time. How accurate that information is, I'm not entirely sure, but it's fairly reliable to say that, because he was certainly known to have visited here on many occasions. But it definitely looks like a lot of space there for a wee church to sit. There was also another little church that was built here during the 1500s, and people from the Victorian period had wrote somewhere that they remembered catching bats in their hankies during long sermons. I don't know quite what the significance of that is, but it must have been a memorable event. I'm not sure I'd want to catch bats myself, given the diseases that they carry. There's also a ghost story related to this place. One Sir Archibald Primrose, who was a very prominent figure in the past, was accused of aiding the Jacobite rebels in 1746. By showing them to the nearby ford at the River Carn to help them cross in the morning of the Battle of Falkirk Muir. Of course, Sir Archibald Primrose claimed that he was forced to do it, and nobody believed him. So they cut his head off, and it's now said that if you come down here, especially at night, you can see his ghostly figure with his head tucked under his arm, wandering the kirkyard within the walls. But this really is a nice place to visit. It's very peaceful. That's a big headstone there. Looks to be about 11 people buried in this one spot here. Jeez, oh. Well, it's certainly rich in mystery and rich in history. The location is the hills of Dunipace Cemetery, also known as Canmore. And to be honest, it's very isolated where it is. Because we're a few miles from any town really. So it makes me wonder if there was maybe some sort of village here in the past near hand, because travelling a couple of miles would take you out your way in the past. I think nothing of it today. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. I found it interesting, hopefully you did as well. And with that being said, this is Pajerico signing off.